手了，但是你痛苦的同时我也痛苦。我当时不应该那么轻易的放弃你，我只是想跟你道个歉。我为了你，我婚都已经退了，我得罪了我的父母，我得罪了那个男人。
The woman who desperately begged her ex-boyfriend to get back together is named Yining. She and her boyfriend, Xiaolei, dated for 4 years in college, but like many couples, they couldn't escape the post-graduation breakup curse. Right after graduating, Yining saw the outside world, full of temptations, and ended up breaking up with her boyfriend, who had neither a house nor a car. She never imagined that 4 years later, her ex-boyfriend would turn his life around and become her direct boss. So, she immediately called off her wedding and rushed to join a TV show, begging for a reconciliation. She had barely stepped onto the stage when she started playing the victim. We started dating in college. When we graduated, we had nothing. No house, no car, no savings. Meanwhile, many of my co-workers had boyfriends who picked them up in cars.
我们俩是在大学的时候在一起，刚刚毕业，什么都没有，没房没车没存款，很多同事都是男朋友开车来接，然后每次回家都是他骑着自行车带我回去，当时就觉得心里面
就是不想坐在自行车上呗，
反正当时心里面酸酸的，觉得
Her boyfriend, Xiaolei, naturally did everything he could to make up with her. No matter how many times she said she wanted to break up, he kept trying to convince her to stay, promising that in a few years, he would give her the life she always wanted. But fate didn't cooperate. Yining still chose to end things. In his eyes, nothing was stronger than her pride and vanity. Her parents' opinion, in the end, was just an excuse. A woman's vanity truly is the greatest of all. But, to be honest, vanity is something everyone has, right? Still, shouldn't the standard of living you want come from your own effort? Especially when you're so young. Or did you just graduate from college and already want to sit back and relax? If she broke up with him simply because he couldn't give her the life she wanted, then her view of love is, to say the least, ridiculous. But according to Yining herself, she said the following.
其实每个女孩心里面都有一个美好的愿望，她希望嫁得好，她希望幸福。如果说我物质的话，我只能说，我只是把现实的东西提前考虑到前面了。
The cruelest part of all is that she didn't even give him a chance. It wasn't a matter of years, not even a month. As soon as they graduated, she broke up with him. Now, if her parents had truly threatened to disown her or said, if you stay with him, we'll cut ties, who could withstand that kind of pressure? Regarding this, Yining claimed she suffered a lot. She insisted it wasn't a lack of love for her boyfriend, but that she was forced by her parents. But let's be honest, in the end, it's because she didn't love him enough. If it had been real love, her parents' opposition wouldn't have mattered. All it would have taken was for the two of them to work hard together, to show responsibility, and to reassure her family. Deep down, it all comes down to a matter of choice. Some choose money, others choose love. The problem is, some people want both. If you value material things, then chase material things. If you value pure feelings, then go after that. The tricky part is wanting luxury and purity at the same time. That combination almost never works. And I think Yining fits perfectly into that category. There's nothing wrong with wanting perfection, but it requires more effort, more calculation, more care. At that moment, the show's host, Tu Lei, grew curious and asked, "You've been separated for 4 years. Why try to reconcile now?" Hearing that, Yining became emotional and replied, "It's fate, I can't help it. Recently, I found out that my ex, Xiaolei, that poor guy from back then, has become a big CEO, and to top it off, he's my direct boss. Now he has a house, a car, and savings. When the company announced a new department manager, I never imagined it would be him. I thought, this must be destiny. But really, what does he have now, her?"
我们公司调来了一位新的部门经理，我真的没想到居然就是他。我觉得这就是缘分。
你说他现在什么都有了，他有了什么？有房吗？
有。
有车吗？
啊，有。
他要是今天还什么都没有，你会来向他告白吗？
我不知道该怎么回答这个问题。
As they say, man plans, but fate decides. Who could have imagined that the man she once abandoned would turn out to be the perfect man? The ideal son-in-law in her parents' eyes. Even during those 4 years apart, she went on several blind dates, but none of them compared to him. She even got engaged to a man with good financial conditions, but not even that stopped her from wanting to go back to her ex. After all, human greed has no limits, and the desire for money doesn't disappear so easily. When her ex-boyfriend Xiaolei returned, now rich and successful, she immediately called off her engagement. "We were engaged," she said. "But 2 months ago, when I saw Xiaolei at work, I realized I still hadn't gotten over him. So I decided to end my engagement and come on this show. I wanted to start over with him." You have to admit, that took guts. Calling off a wedding just to try to win back an ex takes audacity. But, of course, reconciliation isn't something you achieve on a TV show. And what if he was already in a relationship? Well, that would have been a valid concern, but apparently, she was way too confident. Yining insisted that Xiaolei still had feelings for her. She said he always treated her kindly, even after everything. When he walked me home, he wouldn't leave until I went upstairs and turned on the light. Then he'd send me a message saying, "Don't work so hard, I really worry about you." She claimed that, in that moment, her old feelings for him came back. But honestly, it's unclear where she got that confidence from. After all, one of life's biggest illusions is believing that the person you like still likes you too. When asked what she would do if her ex didn't show up, Yining answered without hesitation, "He'll come. Xiaolei will definitely come. He's still single." So much confidence. All we could do was wish her luck. But as fate loves to remind us, life has a twisted sense of humor. Xiaolei did show up, holding another woman's hand. The audience was stunned. He walked onto the stage with a smile and said, "Hello everyone, I'm Xiaolei, and this is my fiancé." The woman next to him added, "Hi, I'm Xiaona." A direct and devastating blow. Yining was frozen, on the verge of tears, completely shattered in front of the cameras. He host, Tu Lei, stepped in. "You could have come alone. Why bring your fiancé? Were you trying to show off how well your life turned out?" The new girlfriend didn't hold back. She's the one who kept reaching out to him. She kept sending flirty messages, and it was affecting our relationship. So I came here to protect my love. In other words, she was there to mark her territory. Still, there was no need to humiliate Yining like that. After all, Yining didn't know Xiaolei was already engaged. Tu Lei got straight to the point. "Xiaolei, did you bring her here on purpose to get revenge?" And although everyone could see that he had ulterior motives, he denied it. He said he hadn't planned to come but decided to show up so she wouldn't be disappointed and to give her a surprise. "If I didn't come," he said, "she would have opened that door and found an empty stage. She would have been really sad." Hard not to laugh. What kind of surprise is that? That's not a surprise, that's a scare. As for the texts and supposed care, Xiaolei explained that it was nothing more than a boss showing concern for an employee. He said she had misunderstood and that he never hid his relationship. She just didn't catch the hints. In the end, his actions only left Yining more heartbroken. With tears in her eyes, she said, "I broke up with you, but while you were in pain, I was hurting too. I couldn't go against my family. I couldn't convince myself that our future would work. But now I realize I was wrong. For you, I called off my wedding, disappointed my parents, and hurt that man. But let's be real, what's the point of all that drama now? When he had nothing, she dumped him without hesitation. And now that he has everything, she shows up talking about regret? The world turns, and this time, she lost. The damage was done, and no amount of love could erase the past. The confession ended right there, without reconciliation. Yining said she planned to quit her job to move on. Tu Lei asked, "And where will you run off to?" She sighed, "Anywhere I don't have to see him." He simply replied, "That means you haven't let go yet. But time heals everything, it's been 4 years, you'll be fine." It's hard to say if she truly learned anything from all this. Maybe she just got used to pretending to have depth, because if she really loved him that much, why only come back after he became rich? Sad, sure, but hard to feel sorry for her. When you build your idea of love on money, sooner or later, you pay the price. As the saying goes, a good horse never goes back to eat the grass it left behind. And if it does, who's to say that grass isn't poisoned? To avoid heartbreak, it's better not to look back. If someone from your past found success, wish them well, but keep moving forward. And most importantly, never look down on someone just because they're struggling. Because, as the old saying goes, if you didn't stay by their side at sunset, you don't deserve to stand beside them at sunrise. So cherish the person who's with you now, before it's too late.
This story sounds like a cheap soap opera plot, but it's real. And what's most impressive is that it happened exactly the way life likes to teach its lessons, through pure irony. Yining broke up with her boyfriend, Xiaolei, because he didn't have a house, a car, or money. 4 years later, he comes back not only rich, but also as her boss. And of course, she does what anyone with a wounded ego and an empty wallet would do, dumps her fiancé and rushes to a TV show to beg him to come back. Actually, this story is very similar to one I shared on the channel last week. The difference is that, in that one, the guy didn't get rich. And honestly, that small detail changes everything. Because here, the story reaches a whole new level of absurdity, not just because of Destiny's perfect timing, but because she doesn't even try to hide how gold-digging she is. She openly says she just wants stability, comfort, and a partner with a future, and that's exactly what makes the whole thing so ironic. Because when the future finally arrived, it wasn't hers, it belonged to someone else. It's funny how some people confuse love with investment. They treat relationships like stocks, only putting in effort when there's guaranteed return. But life doesn't work like that. She left him because she wanted a finished man, not a work in progress. The problem is, sometimes it's during the construction that the gold is found. And what did she do? She walked away before the work was done. When she came back to check the result, the house already had an owner. What's even more interesting is that she says all this without a hint of shame. What woman doesn't want a rich partner, she says. And honestly, you almost have to respect the honesty, at least she's not pretending. But life doesn't forgive that kind of calculation. When you turn love into a spreadsheet, destiny becomes the auditor. And in her case, he found an error in the balance sheet. The day she stepped onto that stage to apologize was the day time came to collect the bill. And what a heavy bill that was. Her ex walked into the studio holding hands with his new fiancée, introduced her to everyone, and all Yining could do was stand there broke and smile, teary eyes not knowing where to hide her face. That wasn't just a no, it was a mirror being held up to her face, a reminder that the world turns and some turns come with interest. But the funny thing is, instead of pity, what you feel is a mix of secondhand embarrassment and satisfaction, because there's poetic justice in stories like this. She traded love for money and ended up losing both. That's not bad luck, that's consequence. She just got a taste of her own medicine, and it's clearly bitter. In the end, this story shows that time is the most sarcastic judge there is. It doesn't shout, it doesn't punish right away, it just watches, takes notes, and returns what's deserved when you least expect it. And when it does, it never gets the address wrong. Yining thought her love had a price, but she learned the hard way that the real price was the one she'd pay later. Public humiliation and regret that can't buy anything back. And honestly, you can't help but laugh at the irony. She left him because he had nothing, and now, even though he has everything, she's the one left with nothing. No love, no pride, no dignity. It's the kind of story that should be studied not for its tragedy, but for the precision with which fate draws its jokes. So here's the lesson. Never underestimate a poor young man or the quiet work of time. Because while some people are busy laughing at others' struggles, others are busy building the future that will make the first ones choke on their own regret. And if you made it this far, it's because you enjoy stories filled with drama, irony, and that satisfying touch of karma. So do this, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Here, we don't just tell stories, we show how Destiny loves giving masterclasses in sarcasm. See you in the next video.